Hello YouTube, it's Sign here with Hobbies of Man once again, and today we're going to be doing another comic book review. So today we're going to be looking at No One's Rose, written by Zach Thompson and Emily Horn, with art by Alberto Albuquerque and inks by Raul Angulo. I think it might have been the other way around. The point is that both of them were involved with the artwork. So the publisher here is Vault, like I said in the Money Shot review. Vault is doing a really good job with all of their series, all of their titles, and I'm really enjoying them as a publisher. They're probably going to be in my top 3 publishers for comic books overall, right? So yeah, the demographic here is kind of unclear. Because it's Vault, I want to say it's a mature audience kind of read, but because of the material in it, I would honestly say it's just YA, because the main character is 15 years old. Her brother, which is another main character, is like 20-something, 30, and there really isn't anything here that would be very adult by any measure. So I would say that this is a YA story, or at the very least, it's safe for YA readers to read this, right? So yeah, the genres here are sci-fi, post-apocalyptic, and I even saw some people call it solar punk. I'm not exactly sure what that means, but it kind of works. It kind of makes sense to me that it would be called this, right? So yeah, it's a solar punk story of some sort. In terms of adaptation, it does not have one. This is also a single trade paperback release, so there's only 5 issues of the story. It does end up well enough, and it actually is a complete storyline, but I just think there's not enough material there for it to be adapted into anything. And yeah, so the premise is that there's this apocalypse. The Anthropocene era has ended because of ecological collapse, basically, as far as I remember. I think that's what happened. And humans now live in this single city called the Green or something. The Green Zone, I think is what it's called, which is a biotic city. It's a city made of metal and stuff like that, but primarily just functions as a giant greenhouse for this big-ass tree. And so we follow these 2 siblings, Ten and Saren. Ten is the girl, she's 15 years old, and Saren is the adult character. I don't remember his age, but he's significantly older than his sister because he took care of her when she when their parents died. So yeah. And we follow them as Ten tries to save the city, and Saren actually tries to destroy the city. And it's actually kind of interesting because there's a kind of ironic twist to the story, and I quite liked it. So the plot line here is pretty good. We get introduced to what it looks like to be the outside of the Green Zone. Then we go back inside the Green Zone. Then Ten goes to school, and we get to learn that she is the daughter of a rebellion leader of some sort. This guy that kind of went crazy and went against the ideas that are prevalent in the Green Zone. And so she tries really hard to do well, and she manages to do good at school and stuff like that, and she is on her way to being a meaningful member of society, but she kind of has an uphill climb to get to this point, right? So it is what it is. Then she comes back home. Eventually you get to meet Saren, who we see kind of skulking around. He's doing stuff that is clearly not something he should be doing, but it is kind of in his character. He is more of the rebellious kind of person. And eventually he gets home, he scares his sister, and then he drags his sister with him as they go to this parade that happens at higher levels of the city, because Ten and Saren are actually lower level people. And so they go up this waterway that they're not supposed to go up to get into the city, into the higher level. And then they get in trouble because Saren was there to go join some rebellious leaders. And then there's this attack on the city by these rebellious people. And so Ten gets in trouble even though she didn't do anything wrong. She gets her credits removed from her. She becomes a nobody. And so she is pushed away to the side. And she blames Saren on this. And then they never see each other again. Or they do, but very briefly. And then Saren gets with the rebels. He joins them. Tragedy strikes. And we learn that, the rebels are wrong, but the plans that are in place by the Green Zone are also concerning. and because it's run by AI, so the AI might do things differently from what is actually correct. It does what it thinks or what it has calculated to be the best within its own rules, right? So it causes conflict. And so the plans change and revolts happen, and it's a very good story. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was kind of boring in the first issue, but it quickly caught up to me, and I got really excited with it, and I really enjoyed it by the end. And there was a lot of good stuff in the story that I didn't mention that you guys should definitely read because it's very, very enjoyable and very good. In terms of characters, we really only have 4 of them. We have Ten, we have Seren, we have their dad, whose name was Wolf, but he is not a character in the sense that we see a character design for him. He is a character from the past. He is mostly a world building kind of tool, but his existence matters to these 2 characters, and it affects how they interact with each other and with the world, right? So he is important in that sense. And then we have Saren's boyfriend, who I can't remember his name, but he was part of the military force of the city, and so he's also a rebel, and so he is partially at fault for what happens in the story. So it's pretty good stuff there. And I guess we do have one extra character, which is Yoro Arc, who is the AI in charge of the Green Zone. And again, this basically becomes a villain at some point in the story. So yeah, in terms of world building, we get to see that that the Anthropocene era has collapsed. Humanity retreats to the Green Zone, and this Green Zone is run by AI. It's basically similar to Wall-E or The 100 or what happens at the end of 2012, the movie, that kind of stuff. They retreat somewhere else, and then people want to go back into the world, but other people are afraid of it. So it is what it is. There's a lot of political tension between these people. And we get to see that this giant tree that is housed by the Green Zone is slowly dying, and there's social political unrest because of this. And then there's external survivors that they interact with at one point, and it's very important. And there's this biological technology, which is really cool, and it looks really awesome. Like, it's very, very well done. The setting is really good overall. I really liked it. In terms of the artwork, it's hit or miss, but it's not bad. Generally, it looks good, but the transitionary parts of the story, the vignettes that kind of go from one action to the next, are pretty horrid. They're not very good, but that might be the inking, that might be the actual drawing. I'm not sure. I just think that the experience overall is hit or miss depending on what you're focusing on. So, yeah. In terms of fan service, there's none in this story. I guess there's technically one scene where Seren and his boyfriend are in bed, but you don't see anything. He's just shirtless, and by our standards, a guy without a shirt doesn't really count as fan service. So, it is what it is. There is no fan service in this story. And in terms of a rating, it's a 4 out of 5. I liked it. I really enjoyed it. And I would actually read another volume of this story, but there isn't one at all. Although I think that the story finished up very well, so it's not like there has to be more to finish telling the story. The story has finished its telling, right? But I would really like to see more stuff by Zach Thompson and Emily Horn. I would definitely read more of their stuff. So yeah, like I said before, this is very similar to Wall-E or The 100 or 2012. It has kind of that like humans return to the earth kind of feel to it, but with like a more tragic kind of vibe to it. So yeah, overall it was very good. I really enjoyed it, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video for it as well. So thank you guys very much for watching, and see you guys later.